Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've got another big one. We've got the £50 Smackdown number 3. I've certainly been enjoying them all so far. And the number 3, we've got Kaiser Klein versus Ezad. Two of the best players in the game. Kaiser Klein recently kind of made a bit of a comeback recently. Last few months, he's come back from retirement. I use the word retirement quite loosely there, but he seems to be enjoying himself. We've seen Kaiser play his usual stuff, but also we've seen him play Malta quite recently. He seems to be enjoying at least one of the DLCs, so that's good to see. He's going to be playing Dutch in the south of this map. We're playing on New England. Dutch is an okay civilization on this map. They definitely have some good cards to put on the lakes here, which is the free flutes.
I don't think Kaiser have that card. I've never seen Kaiser use that card. But on the... Hello, boys and girls, it's me again, hello. And on the top right of the map, we have Ezad playing as the British, spawning in as the colour red here. Yeah, you said these two guys are top of their game. I actually think that Ezad hasn't been playing as much recently as you may think he has. We've seen Kevin and Opti and others grinding the ladder, but Ezad's relatively been quiet behind this. However, in all the tournament games that Kaiser has played versus Ezad, I want to call Kaiser Kevin all this time, this series, I think. I'm not used to Kaiser being back. I actually think that Ezad's been one of the most close competitors against Kaiser Klein, even while Kaiser Klein was at one of his upper peaks. So I'm again hoping that, or expecting, this should be a relatively close game between the two players. Have we found something interesting here, or?
We've got a pause game. Looks like a good, nice little treasure here for 80 coin for Dutch.
Have we got a Kaiser Klein pause enjoyer situation?
We have, but it doesn't look like we've got any unpause enjoyers, which is always good to see.
He's probably going, Sacre bleu, my hunts.
Yeah. Okay, we've got the unpause. Good to see. So, macro perfectly there for 80 coin, so we can get that extra villager in. Perfect macro from the number 1 player, or the previous number 1 player in the game. I totally agree as well, Harrison, with what you were saying earlier about Ezad definitely being one of those long-term, best competitors versus Kaiser Klein throughout the years. Ezad known for... Does Ezad have a main civilization? He's kind of just known for playing every civ.
He's very, very good with the Indians. Definitely is one of the main. But I think
that's true.
One of the reasons why Ezad does so well versus Kaiser Klein is that Ezad is a bit of a... I'm not going to say DLC enjoyer, but he's certainly like a early DLC enjoyer civ / TAD civ / like he's not a DLC enjoyer, but he's not a Nilla enjoyer. He's like in between. So he kind of plays those in between civs, which Kaiser's doesn't enjoy everything. Yeah, Ezad. It's not like Kaiser Klein going, oh great, need to tuck into a French mirror here between myself and Ezad. That's just not going to happen with Ezad here. Ezad's going to try and do everything is possible way to not play a mirror match.
One thing to note here is that Kaiser Klein has had an absolutely cracking Age 1 here. He's picked up some absolutely insane treasures. Even shot this treasure guardian over here just for that extra bit of XP and was able to steal the treasure. So he's just absolutely feeling himself right now. Definitely won the Age 1 game. I do feel like this matchup has always historically been difficult for Dutch. They struggle to have an effective way to deal with longbows. And mass cav, particularly in Age 2. So we'll see what Kaiser Klein's got up his sleeve here. No doubt that this is definitely something he's played numerous times before, so he'll definitely have a tactic in mind. One thing to note, he did actually age up with 14 villagers. Normally you see 15 villagers, so he has definitely gone for that very fast age up, and he's going to age up at around 3 minutes 40, 3 minutes 45. That's an absolutely insane start. We'll take a quick look at his deck, and it doesn't look like there's anything out of the ordinary there, but I think we might be seeing some GMT play for Ezad here if we take a quick look. Oh yeah, so we've gone for distributism to start, which sort of seems to be the meta right now, but then we've also got Greenwich Meantime, which is not necessarily the meta, particularly in Age 1. But what are your thoughts on that, Harrison?
My thoughts is I'd love to plot a graph over time with Lion's accuracy on saying the word distributism over time. And even then, I'm starting going, how many isms is it in that word? It's one of those difficult ones, but it's always so fun listening to you.
It's not an easy one, even for an English native.
No,
right?
No, it's not. It's I don't just call it like lumber logging or something like that. Just like why does it need to be like? Why do you need to distribute wood? Like, why can you just like distribute like food instead? Like, that sounds so much nicer, maybe. I don't know. I digress. But looking at Kaiser's age up bank time there, that bank was completed at 3 minutes and 40. And one of the benefits of a 14-vil age up, if you can go for a 14-vil age up, is if you can get that bank down earlier, XP comes in earlier, the coin trickle gets in earlier, you have to mine less gold for your first villager earlier. Interestingly, gone for a stable on the 400 play market and house. He might get a bit housed if he tries to go for a full batch, but when you go stable this early, especially on the 14-vil, you're never going to get all 5 huss out and villager production, so I'm not too worried. I think Kaiser Klein's thinking Ezad might be doing like VC boom, just sit back, because that's what Brits kind of do, but Kaiser's very happy to try and disrupt, and I actually did see Kaiser play. I can't remember who he was playing, but he was playing this matchup on Grand Chaco, Dutch into Brits, and Kaiser went for like a side stable, then side barracks, and then kind of playing this age 2, and quite a lot of players are starting to play Dutch a bit more age 2 focused these days, because some of the age 2 weaknesses are starting to kind of not be so prevalent in their playstyle.
Interesting that we started with that's a very early 5 Hussar batch from Kaiser Klein. I really thought that was going to catch Ezad off there, but Ezad sort of knowing what's going on. Although he hasn't scouted the stable, he did go for some early pikemen. Maybe wanted to do some early damage or some houses or some. But he takes on 5 pikes, Harrison, with 5 Hussars. Have you ever seen such insane micro from someone? And that's why he's the number 1, or the previous number 1, if you will. And
well, I mean, calm it down, line. That is 1,000 resources versus 400 resources of units. Like those Cav are beat up. He's certainly taking a good trade there. There was good micro. There was fighting through the trees. Things could have been improved. Actually, we got to give credit here to Ezad for opening with pikemen instead of opening up with musketeers, because although musks you think are the kind of all-rounder unit, well, you kind of want to boom behind this, and if you can get away with booming and only having 5 pikes on the field, and you're assured that there's no other potential conflicts or contention coming in, then you're absolutely laughing. Interesting to know, Ezad sending in, I think he's sending double wood crates behind this, so he can afford to get into 4 TB stagecoach, another wood crate. All Ezad has to do now is just train pikemen and not, well, lose. If you know what I mean, he's got 4 TP stagecoach, and this is one of the playstyles I think that Brits need to be adopted a bit more. They have the GMT card. It is insane for them. It helps them get onto the train post so much easier. Train post is still good for any civ, no matter if you've got a Vil booming civ or not. And then if Ezad wanted to follow up to the next stage, maybe taking that post as well. His age up is so fast because of GMT.
Yeah, it really is. But Kaiser Klein is not going to let him age up that quickly for free, and he's really doing some good damage here. Just to note, we did see like 3 Hussars take on another 3 pikemen or something. So this is actually really, really good micro, and he's but Ezad's he's also got some incredible micro. So he's used to this. He understands what's going on. He's using that TC fire to weaken the Hussars that have been hit by the pikemen. Yeah, this is really good disruption by Kaiser Klein, and I imagine that we will see some. I was just about to say we'll see an age up behind this, but it doesn't look like it. Kaiser Klein sticking to his guns, playing some H2. Looks like he definitely wants to get some of these TPs down.
Yeah, the thing is, you can't let a 4 TP stagecoach enjoyer dominate the middle and you having no response to it. Like, maybe 2 TPs on XP is pretty nice, but 4 TPs on wood, and you've got all these villagers behind on steel trap food eco. All Ezad needs is a second racks, 2 stables, and just start spamming the units. And I think Ezad is moving into making more units. The pikemen have only just arrived here from Kaiser Klein. I do note, because of Kaiser Klein's early stable play, his eco is lacking. He's only on 3 banks at the moment. Like, hey, Kaiser's on 3 banks. That's 2.75 gold per second times however much. Ezad's on like 30 plus villagers and 4 TPs, like on woods. The Brit eco here is better, and Kaiser Klein is having to react to this. He is getting a reaction. He will lose a couple of TPs, but I don't think Ezad will lose the entire route and can bounce back stronger.
What does he make now though? Because pikemen are just not going to cut it.
Pike longbow.
Yeah, so longbow. But is he going to be able to mass enough at this stage? It's looking really good for Kaiser Klein. He seems to be just playing this absolutely perfectly. The pikeman on the TPs now looks like he's going to be keen on taking these TPs as well.
It's the skirms. Ezad's caught out. He hasn't anticipated 5 skirmishes on the field as well. He was expecting just an 8 pike shipment and lots of huss being trained. But now, like, those skirms have picked up 5 pikemen. That's 400 res already gone. turns to pick up a Huss nice little trade, but the thing is, he's now back down to square one. He's still got no units on the field at Ezad, and he's having to remass again around this pond. I see what he's doing, but the 5 skirms have just turned this entire game upside down, and I think, honestly,
it's just wonderful to watch. It really is. It's just an absolute. It's what happens when a player just has the fundamentals down to an absolute T. Someone with it just feels like you're watching someone with perfect fundamentals, perfect micro, perfect build order, perfect counter. It just seems like it's just beautiful play. It really is, and it's just such an absolute pleasure to watch.
Look at the disrespect here. Kaiser Klein is aging up, taking a trading post as well, and has won the TP line. Like, you don't win the TP line and age up at the same time. You save your resources to age up, or you invest it taking the TP line. Like, this is a bit of a... I mean, scores are relatively close, but that's not really telling the story. We need to check on the Ezad. If he's only got 1 barracks at the moment, the game's over. He needs to have at least 3 production, I feel. And that doesn't fill me with confidence. 1 racks, 1 stable. Okay, got 2nd racks at home. Soon be 1 racks, but... I mean, he's lost his GMT bonus for the age up, so this age up isn't fast, and it's so close. This build from Ezad was so close to being spectacular, and then Kaiser just thinking, oh, I need to add 2 military buildings in my H2 to push out and work with what I've got. Very nice.
Yeah, I have to admit, I feel like this almost would have worked versus anyone else playing against Dutch, but just Kaiser Klein's Hussar micro is just... And from someone who's played Kaiser Klein numerous times, honestly, going up against his micro is just such a daunting effort. It's such an intimidating feat. One thing to note, though, Ezad's definitely not out yet. I did see the little counter down here where he took almost the TP down with 4 HP. So that's almost 200 wood that Kaiser Klein just practically wasted there with a nice little pikeman raid. Even though he's under pressure, Ezad's still keeping a cool head, and he's still getting some little counter wins, some little battle wins of his own. So we'll see how the war goes.
Line, do I detect a fundamental lack of Age of Empires 3 basic theory?
The 200 wood.
If you have a building and it drops down to 1 HP, how much does it cost to repair it?
Oh god, it's like my math teacher all over again. I don't know. Tell me, Harrison.
50% of the building cost.
50%.
You don't pay full price for repairs. It's half price.
Okay, well I take that back, and it's 100 wood.
God, Lion, you're a top 50 player and you don't know that repairs are really cheap.
Maybe if I knew that, I'd be a top player. Who knows, eh? Look, again, disrupting this TP line, delaying that TP time, which will in turn delay extra resources for Kaiserklein. So Ezad definitely getting some wins in there, but looks like we're gonna have a big battle now.
Timing, this is dangerous. Those pikes, they look H2 still, and the Huss H2. Oh dear God, somebody make it stop, and I think this is going to be too much to hold on. The vet Huss timing here from Kaiser Klein. A little bit of skirms sprinkled in just to pick up the pikemen. That's all he needs, is to kill the pikemen, let the Huss do the remaining of the work. Goons do come out, pikemen are reinforcement, but the initial exchanges have going Kaiser's way. He's going to back off here. He hasn't managed to crush it here, but I think the momentum's still in his favour. He's now taking TP line. He's now getting his economy going. He's now potentially going to the 4th bank, 5th bank, and then moving into H3 units. And the potential scaling here from Ezad has been certainly curtailed. The fact that Ezad had to make so many units, his mana count is not at 200 yet. Kaiserklein's up in TPs. He's still got loads of natural resources back, and I'm sure he'll be soon spamming out double racks, double skirms. I wonder if has Kaiser sent any unit shipments at the moment, or is he all? Has he actually managed to squeeze in a wood shipment as well?
He's got cavalry combat, and then he sent his 5 hussars and 8 skirmishers. So interesting that cavalry combat had definitely come in as well with the veteran Huss timing there. So looked really, really good for Kaiser Klein, and it was probably a good trade for Kaiser Klein. However, Ezad just hanging on in there. Goons coming in, extra pikemen coming in, and somehow he just hung on there. And there wasn't actually that many skirmishers, but shut me up, he's tripled his skirmishers in the time it's taken me to say the word skirmishers, and we got a real battle on here. Like I said at the start though, longbows have historically countered skirmishers, so we'll see.
This game's cooking because the scores are even, and Brits have got to the stage where, great, their longbows will trade very well versus skirmishers. They are the better skirmisher in this sense. Like, who needs rangers when you got a boy with a bow and arrow? That's exactly what we want. Kaiser here going for a frigate makes sense. He wants the damage output, he wants the range, he wants the momentum. I'm sure Ezad can... he's going for a falconet, which also makes sense. I'd also love it if it was a frigate, but then you can't really anticipate the frigate until it's too late, and Kaiser Klein needs to try and get some sort of momentum. There may be a chance that Kaiser actually picks up the falconet, so we need to look out for that. Do not let that one... Oh, no! No! I've just seen! Please!
Is it going to change?
Oh, my God!
Oh, he changed it! He changed it!
Oh. I'm about to say, no, je suis à la baguette.
He changed it to infantry combat, but at this stage, this is New England. It's New England. You've got to know this.
The thing is, the frigate does so much work on securing that trading post line. You're either killing the army, reinforcing for either side. You're either sniping off the falconets for free, or... I mean, it's okay. He can still send in frigates while pushing with infantry combat units. So it's not like, oh no... But it could have been so like, oh yes, and Ezad, he might get a little bit of XP, and he might back up his push now with a frigate in the pond, back in the two falconets.
Oh, a little bit shame that it was housed there, so we couldn't actually get that third falconet out. So we're going to have a good old-fashioned standoff. 2 falconets versus 2 falconets. Who's going to prevail? I do feel like, imagine a frigate on the defensive pond right now. For either Ezad or Kaiser Klein, it would completely sway the tide of the game. More Hussars coming out. That's the defender's advantage. The falconets are going to kind of get muddled up. This could be dangerous. The Hussars, Ezad's Hussars, trying to get on these falconets, and one of them does. That could be
That's huge because there's nothing really focusing that down. That falconet is destined to down. One goes down. The other one low HP as well. It actually wins the trade 2-1, 2-0. Reuters moving in, he wants to commit to the falconet, but sometimes you can overdive with the Reuters. You should get a bit of a pickup here, but Pikes here from Ezad on top of the skirms, and they've kind of gone the wrong way, but it doesn't overly matter. I think as an exchange goes, Ezad is pretty happy with this and can follow up with a warship in the ponds. Longbow is going to be made behind, and there's a lot of cavalry that Kaiser has made. That's expensive units have gone down. Ezad quite happy making bow pike, wooden food based units. He's quite happy with that trade. Kaiser Klein having to run away, and villagers in the town centre. In-base hunt has gone. I'd actually like to see Ezad back up and just push on the top side of the map and like really put pressure on the hunts here, because that's what's really keeping Kaiser Klein now going. Is he's got a decent food income. He's got 22 vills on food, so he does have reinforcements behind this. But yes, as soon as those longbows get on top of hunting villagers, then we're going to be in big trouble here for Kaiser Klein.
I can't wait for the frigate versus frigate on the same pond. It's gonna be a big one. More falconets coming out for Kaiser Klein. He does have a lot of floating resources, so he should have a really good remass here.
Let's look at Ezad's shipment, because he sent 2 falcons last time, and he should be having a shipment going. He's actually going for yeomanry or yeomans.
Not something you see every day. Not something you see every day, but I do love longbows. They are one of the coolest units in the game, I have to say. And does he have? He doesn't have the one that turns them into the siege
rangers or the siege archery.
Yeah, so
I think it's a bit of a meme card.
I agree.
Kind of works, but it's not as much. Oh my god, the quad on the bounce! Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Did you see that?
Yeah. Someone got to clip that. We've got to have a clip on that. Someone's got to clip that.
The first volley kills one longbow, and then one little cannonball just bounces along the lines. And
I just love the animation.
Oh shit! Here we go.
So come on, who's got the minerals to send the first boat onto the lakes? Come on.
That's all you care about, Line, is the boat. Isn't it?
Because
I want to see the boat in the ponds. Wow,
this is New England.
That's why we play New England.
I've been playing this map since 2006. And there it is. There it is. For Kaiser Klein. He's gonna. All he needs to do is hang around this frigate, and he'll completely dominate. Ezad's halfway before he gets anything close to being able to get another frigate out. So,
right. So this is interesting, because Ezad is like, right, I need to go for the vills. He's gonna go for the vills. Kaiser Klein is thinking, right, I'm too far away from the vills. I can just go into the frigate or just run to Ezad's base, and we're going to see like a Vil base trade here, because I don't see Kaiser Klein chasing this down. And it's the longbows on the Vils is going to be the damage. Look at the Dragoons in melee and snaring. This is so amazing. That's every single Vil that Dutch has at the moment. Okay, yes, the army's coming behind this, but once you lose all these Vils, how do you, like, the frigate can't go on land, thankfully. Like, not in this patch at least, but that's not the choice I want in Kaiser Klein. I want Kaiser Klein to dive into Brit's base and say, okay, if you're going all in, I'm going all in too. And Ezad will be very happy at how that little micro exchange has happened.
Going to be interesting here. There's a lot of hussars. There's still 2 more falconets there as well on the pitch. And these longbows are going to get absolutely melted. That's a quintuple kill in there. Beautiful. These goons are going to go down. The longbows are just getting massacred. 1 falconet does go down, and that's thanks to the longbows. But this is going to be cleared up. Now, the thing is, was the villager kills worth it? Because he essentially sacrificed his whole army for it. So I feel like...
Yes, it is.
The tempo is definitely in Kaiser Klein's favour now, but...
Brit is on 80 villagers, can send a defensive frigate to hold out, or to get exchange in. Dutch is on 27, out of food, only on berries. He will have momentum to push, but it's Kaiser's now game to push out and micro to victory, because if he leaves this for another 6 minutes, we're just going to see endless swarms of longbows, some pikes, a couple of goons. You might see Ezad start dropping a dock on the sea, the actual sea this is, and start pushing out there. 82 Vils with a couple of... The train posts even slowed down. Like, it's just he's got the time to play this. The big boy boat come... Wait, where is the boat going?
That's what I'm trying to see. Oh, I think it's flagged. Oh, that was lucky.
Oh,
that was very lucky.
Not do that. That is risky.
Because that could not spawn. That could have not spawned. That was very lucky, very fortunate.
Have you not learned from all the competitive age umpires we've played over the years? Like,
this is Kaiserklein we're talking about.
And it's pikes and the raiders. A couple of raiders get snared and caught down. The frigate's gone down due to the defense advantage with the outpost and the frigates. One Falcon's not interested in trying to engage that. There's another town centre here. Fair enough, but still, load of resources. Absolutely fine. Just needs a couple more longbows here. Calling Minutemen out just to buy him some time. Just a couple idols, but I think Ezad's going too early here. He's going too early because he has so much economy advantage, but he's just going to go mad Vilpool. This is Brit Tactics 101. Get your great coats, get your 50 villagers, and just right-click.
Yeah, this is almost impossible for Kaiser Klein to micro, and Ezad's making it extremely difficult for him to do so. Just smashing the pikes in there, smashing the hussars in there, all melee units, calling Minutemen, calling his Explorer, doing the villager pull, just making it so difficult for him to micro. He does take down the falconet though, and there's only skirmishers left, so not a terrible trade for Ezad. You know, he probably accomplished what he wanted to do and taking that down, that falconet.
So yeah, that's fine, because the thing is now he sees, right, he's got lots of skirmishers behind this. I just go into longbows. I still have many villagers. Kaiser has kind of like recovered his position. Scores are even at the moment. It will take time for the economy to like really set itself out, in the sense that Ezad will start to climb away. Score is just starting to edge it a little bit. He was very wise to not take that pikeman into skirmish fight when he didn't need to. Oh, big boy free floats here from Kaiser. Now, if that flag doesn't move and that warship from Ezad doesn't move, only 2 are spawning. Even that is like, that's putting it a bit too close. Yeah. Do you remember you used to be able to move the flag waypoint anywhere on the map without line of sight?
I do remember.
That was juicy.
It was, and I'm starting to get a little worried. You could very.
He's not moving it, is he?
He's not.
He's not moving it. I bet he's thinking about Vils training. He's probably thinking, fuck. It's spawned.
Oh, no, 2! No, Kaiser Klein, you should know this.
He sends 2 galleons in the 3rd age. That's not. I mean, to be fair, it's still fun because you've got falconets backing this up, so it's not the end of the world. But like,
it's not. Like, but he's lost a flute in this whole process.
You know what this is? It's like going to KFC and ordering a medium meal and going for a large. Oh, the frigate on the falconet.
Oh, that was a great trade.
Play. What a
really
play.
Great,
Just back this. Back this and make longbows.
Does want to definitely not lose that other flute as well. Don't forget, these guys, they are resistant to outpost and town centre fire. They can act as a barracks and a military building pretty much of any kind. So they are able to produce units as well, which can be handy. This could go either way, Harrison. the thing is as well, the trade post is now going into Kaiser Klein's favour. He's about to get 3 of them, and it's gone back and forth for the TP line. And this entire game has been basically vying for control of the TPs, because that's where the juicy resource is going to be coming. Don't forget now as well, there isn't any food, and the gold resources on this side of the map are dwindling as well. He's had to go over to Mills, and this is the problem. He's essentially lost the map. He has the superior economy with all the villagers, but if you're having to spend all that resource on building infrastructure, it's not going to go well for you.
I mean, okay. If he has losing the game, I think one of the reasons he has is he's built 2 estates. Like, the mills are fine. Just go blow pike. You don't actually need gold in this situation. You've got your huge economy and all this, but the estates are so expensive and so slow at this stage of the game. The Falcon is unprotected. That's going to go down. It's not the end of the world. And then you see the bow pike eventually will kind of do the job here for Ezad what he needs, but it's just not quite enough, is it? He wants to back this as much as possible. He wants to get as much time chopping as well, and I kind of want to see what the wood upgrades here from Ezad. He has to have at least log flume. If he's still on gang saw, I would be so annoyed.
And I have to say, I'm grinning like a Cheshire cat. This is just, it's like a kid in a candy shop. Like, it could go either way. I'm just loving this battle. This to and fro. Can
we check the wood gathering from Ezad, because this is important. This is oh, that is log flume. That is very nice. Loving that.
It is. Excellent. So more Hussars coming out for Ezad. They're both definitely going for a very similar composition. So we've got the standard skirmisher, and then they've got the anti-cav and the cavalry units. Kaiser Klein mixing it up a little bit, making the odd falconet. Definitely feel like that's the right play. We haven't got any. Have we got any more coming in? No, we haven't. So just going for those Hussars, anti-cav, routers, and skirmishers. Skirmishers very strong as well. I think they've had just about every card bar 1 that they can possibly have. So these skirmishers are basically...
He's got so many skirms, and I mean, to be fair, he's got so much stuff in general. There's way too many Huss to deal with the pikes, but with 50 skirmishers, it's going to be tight, and Ezad just needs to back and wait for reinforcements. I know it's tempting to try and block this, but if he goes to the fight now, he's just not going to win. He's actually going for another town centre, which I swear Ezad's already at like 80 plus vills. Like, I don't know if the town centre is what he needs. That could be units on the field. That could be units. And Kaiser Klein's getting the trades. Ezad's not just taking the fights he needs. This is... It's just so much Huss here from Ezad, so he's still going for that food gold composition when realistically the gold's nearly out. He's pretty... The rate of return on the income is pretty slow, and the longbow master just hasn't got to a master he can fight. These are guys that upgrades with yeomanry. Like, these should be, happily to stand there and fire from long range, but he just hasn't got numbers to deal with it. And anytime he moves in, moves out, does the hokey cokey, he's just losing so many units.
It's definitely go time for Kaiser Klein, and he's ever since that battle where we lost all of those villagers over here, he's been able to obtain and keep that tempo. He's been able to keep that tempo, and it's definitely working in his favour here. Is Ezad going to be making... We'll have a quick look over to Ezad. Is he making... He's making artillery. It's kind of desperate measures now, and he feels like the only thing he can do is make some artillery to try and just dwindle this mass of skirmishers. Basically, skirmishers on steroids at this point. Hussars and artillery is the only way he's going to deal with it. He's losing villagers in the background here as well. Is this artillery pop going to be enough?
Well, he needs to defend the artillery. Like, the artillery comes out, kills, put pressure on the skirms. He's got to fight for this. He's got to push out now, because as soon as those artillery come out, Kaiser's right-clicking that. He is right-clicking it. And the Reuters can just dive in. He's like, 75 villagers here for Brett. They're unpacked. The Reuters
don't leave them.
Oh, no!
Oh, this great drag box, and he managed to just about save it, but the Reuters are just going to be able to run away.
Robot would be proud.
He would indeed, he would indeed. It's just not enough mass from Ezad, and the score slightly easing.
I mean, the biggest problem here is Ezad's got a 75 vil economy, but only 2 barracks. Like, a lot of players, like, once they get to 2 buildings per thing, they forget to build more and, like, adjust their production to suit their economy, and not enough production on the pikes. Still floating resources at this moment, but enough units here from Kaiser moves into basically slap on that army, and there's no protection now on the villagers. That transition was too hard there from Ezad, and Kaiserklein, I think he's done it, mate. Yeah, I think he's done it.
It's looking pretty good, and there's the GG, well timed.
What a game.
What an absolute cracking first game. And we'll just take a quick look at Kaiser Klein, because he almost managed to get to his full potential on villagers. He only had 3 more to get. basically had, we'll just check how many banks he had. He stayed on 5 banks the entire time, so he doesn't have those cards that give him extra banks, which is interesting. But he does have the religious freedom card, which it enables him to get 2 extra banks, but decided not to use that. I'm surprised because that definitely would have been a nice card at some point to help with the Stradius and the Cav mass. So
no, not really, because well, it's fine, but like you have to price it in as an age 3 mercenary, and you know, Dutch have a 5 Stradiot card for 1,000 gold, while other cities have a 6 Stradiot card for 1,000 gold, and you might be maybe tempted there for as a coffee trade, but then all your units are so much slower, and I think people have realised that in 1v1 supremacy, you don't go coffee trade. It's just not how you do it, unfortunately. That was great comeback. I think there was like a moment in time where Kaiser Klein was just dominating the early, and Ezad came back.
Yeah,
and then the Kaiser Klein reversal as well. And I still think the Ezad play on the Kaiser Klein Vils was fine. It was just the fight afterwards. He kind of had the wrong angle in the fights. Like,
if we take a look here, if we take a look at this point in the 90 minutes 50, that's where all the villagers went down. However, if we look at Kaiser Klein's mass, he kept his losses to very much a minimum, but Ezad's mass just went all the way down, and if we look, he was never able to recover his mass above Kaiser Klein's, and I think that's definitely what cost the game.
I think the other problem was as well is that, okay, yeah, that happened, that's fine, we take stock. Ezad kept on trying to take that next fight just a little bit too early. There was no... Yes, he could have lost a TC with Vils in it, but there was never really a need to really take on that fight before you were at full potential. I don't think Ezad ever got to 200 population, and when you have an 80 vil economy, there's no reason to not try and aim for that.
One thing else to mention there, in that when all his villagers got raided, he lost 20 villagers. 20. Yet Ezad still didn't win the game, even though Kaiser Klein lost 12. People like gambling. And Harrison, we have an absolute classic. How many times have you seen this matchup played, particularly between these two guys? Talking earlier in the first game about Ezad potentially having a main civilization, it is the Big India, and what a map to play India on. India are definitely going to benefit from... Oh, sorry about the speed there. India are definitely going to benefit from these yaks. Don't forget that each yak provides a small amount of experience trickle for India. So the challenge is for Ezad to try and get as many of these as quickly as possible. However, Kaiser Klein, playing as the French, is going to be well aware that that's definitely Ezad's mind as soon as the game launches. So he's going to send his scout out, he's going to send his explorer out, and he's going to try and obtain as many of these yaks to deny that experience trickle from Ezad. So we'll see how well he does, and we'll have a quick counter. Going to have a market start here for France, so potentially not going for a TP start.
And I think Kaiser will still TP. You start with an extra gold crate on Mongols. You have the potential opportunity here to buy at the market, trade a little bit, but it's only because Kaiser doesn't actually start off with a thing. What is it? Start off with a coin treasure. He's going to have to sell some food to buy it back. So I think he spent some 50 gold on market hunting dogs. So yeah, he's going to try and sell a bit of food here to reach the 125 buy threshold here for some wood. He's going to do that now. Trade, I'm hoping. Yeah, trade, and buy.
Very nice, very nice.
The only thing is, like, I mean, yeah, that is good. That is good. It's a nice opening there for Kaiser Klein, and the extra investment there will get paid back by the hunting dogs pretty quickly. One thing I want to say about the yaks here for India, I know you're saying, like, oh, India on a livestock map. Oh my god, it's amazing, but it's good.
With 8 of them? With 8 of them?
Okay, 8 yaks is really good. I will give you 8. I will give you 8 yaks is really insane. So, but let's say it was 5. Let's say it was 5. 5 yaks is half a training post, and then you need to get a light sacred pen to pen them to get basically triple. And I think quite a lot of people forget that the sacred pen essentially triples your XP income from yaks. So when you have 8, that's 80% of a training post. If you get triple that's 2.5 TPs in base. Like that is when the livestock become really good there for India, and quite often we just don't see people making sacred pens. I think it's something people forget about, but if you're thinking 200 wood for an extra 1.5 to training posts, Ezad will be doing that every. You'll take your hand and bite it. He'd be like, it's so amazing for India.
Couldn't agree more. But we do, regardless. The thing is, regardless if he doesn't even get that sacred pen up, he's still got 0.8 XP trickle, not far off 1 XP trickle, which is pretty damn.
But Kaiser Klein has got
insane.
1 XP trickle though, like he's
but
got
it's
a
costing
1 XP
200
trickle.
wood. It's costing 200 wood, and India have this for free. They have it for free. Gonna be aging up now. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see because it feels like there it is. The Kani Martyr has definitely. It kind of feels like the meta now. It still feels maybe like it's 50-50, and the Agrafort has slightly fallen out of favour for the top players. So we're not going to see the Agrafort. We're going to see the Kani Martyr. That's obviously going to be a significant boost for all of these, all of the settlers gathering natural resources. So we'll see how that turns out. Going to go for that eco start. We'll see. Have a quick look at Kaiser Klein. He's also aging up. Gone for the very standard 14 villager age up. Has went for the market start with hunting dogs. Has a TP as well. So he's had a really, really strong start as well. We'll see what he's going to open up with. Place of Mind's just coming in now. Are we going to see Hussars or are we going to see Musketeers, Harrison? What do you think?
It's Kaiser Klein. He loves his cav micro. I think versus the in-base Cardi, you gotta go stable. Just open up the gambit. Try and get the raising in. Because if you see Ezad dropping a counter stable, you know he's going to go into goons. He kind of has to make those units then to kind of protect versus. And when you see, in-base Carney, it's great. What's even better is seeing in-base Carney in a barracks as well. So I'm looking to see if, I'm sure Ezad will go in-base stable to start off with. What's a nice thing to mention about the Carney Martyr is that the gathering rate is still the same, as in it was buffed and nerfed, but the radius has increased, and there's 2 hunts to the north. Both of those can be herded, be underneath the Carney Martyr, so that should be really, really good. Those livestock are being moved around just to prevent blockage on the gold mine. It's quite nice. No pen just yet. Oh yes, you don't need to wave the mouse like a wand, magic wand line. I can see there's animals on the screen, and they've been hunted towards the base.
I was showing chat what you was talking about.
Don't listen to Harrison. Look at my pointer. Look at the animals. Yeah.
I was assisting. I was being a good co-caster. I was being a good co-caster. I hope you're proud of me.
Are you assuming the chats are that either blind or stupid, but they don't know what an animal is if I'm talking about?
These are Age of Empires 3 watchers, so probably blind.
Of course,
probably blind.
Are they DLC enjoyers as well? Because that's when the IQ drops very, very suddenly as well.
Here we go. All right. Before we go down this rabbit hole, Kaiser Klein does have this barrack started. He knows full well that there's Carney, so he did really good job scouting there. And in response, because of that information that he gathered, he's decided to go for a Hussar start. It looks like quite a late Hussar start, actually. These 5 Hussars are going to come out around 6 minutes. Maybe 5 minutes 45, but they won't be in his base till at least 6 minutes, and by then I'm sure Ezad will have some anti-cav protection. And if we take a quick look at Ezad, we'll see if he scouted the stable, which he has. So both opponents have scouted each other very well. Export going to be coming in. Interesting to see what he's going to spend that export on. The consul's not even up yet. Does take some time, but we'll see what he's going to decide to go for. I imagine we'll probably see the Brit consulate, or no, maybe we'll see the Ottoman consulate actually.
Ottoman, yeah, no, Ottoman is just too good at the moment with the Huss tech, the AZAP tech, because the AZAPs are, in combat not strong as the Minutemen, but guess what? Their HP doesn't decrease, and for some reason, it's still classed. I don't get it. It's still classed as an improvement and not like a single unit batch. It trains really, really fast. Oh, research is really fast. They don't even train. It's really awkward when these Asian consulates are having units as the improvements, and it's the same idea with the Brit consulate. Now that there's infinite PTAR and infinite spy, there's like a reason why they had to reduce the train time on the infinite PTARs, because it's no longer the improvement, it's now a unit, and it's just like it's a bit convoluted. Age of Rajput though, I had a funny game watching Prince take apart Jerry by just going pure Rajputs into Jerry's Germany, and the thing is, France and Germany are very similar civs. I think Ezad's just going to go pure Rajput and sprinkle in some Cav here, like the Ottoman Huss, some Sours. It's really tough here to Kaiser to hold or to do anything about that, actually. It's going double Musk is actually the best thing to do. If Kaiser was thinking about going to the fortress station, going to skirmishers, that's not what you want.
Yeah, and interesting. Is actually forced to ship Minutemen there, and that's definitely, although there are only 300 resources, that's definitely going to disrupt maybe his population space. It might just disrupt the fact that he can't get 10 musketeers out. So that's a really nice play by Ezad. He was chasing down the hussars. Kaiserklein hasn't been able to do any damage with these hussars. Spotted the Rajputs, which is probably something Kaiserklein's not too familiar with, because a nice 140 coin getting picked up by
I know that Kaiser Klein isn't clued up on the change list to the Rajputs. I know that Kaiser Klein will not realise that Rajputs attack at a rate of 1.25 instead of 1.5. And I think Kaiser Klein might know, but Rajputs gets a 30% attack boost card in Age 2, Dravidian Martial Arts. So if he can kind of comprehend the threat, he may be okay. You see him sending bows, getting a couple pikes going. This is a mixed bag of units being trained. I guess he's going to try and finish off, but he's a bit housed. I would like to see mass musketeer here instead of crossbow pike.
Oh, and he's not noticed, but even the Kaiserklein, but he did manage to just about get the snare on. He could have killed all three of them, but he's only going to manage to get about one and a half if you take into consideration the HP. What do you feel? Oh, a nice little raid going on here, but these tanky CBDs should be okay to deal with that. What do you feel about the pike bowmen? Because usually you would see musketeers coming in with these hussars, but we're going to see some bow pike. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, apart from the fact that Mass Rajput's going to slap in at some point, I don't actually see many units. Was Ezad trying to age? I don't see a wander on the battlefield. Rajput's coming from behind, possibly. There's not a lot of units on the field. Okay, Azad's being called, Sepoy's being shipped, and maybe a reverse flank of units from the top side, but that's not going to happen. Yeah, you see all this army coming in at the time, and you'll be surprised at how much work the Rajputs go if Ezad takes the fight. He doesn't actually have to take the fight. Yes, he's called Asian Minutemen, but like it's not like he's called Ottoman Minutemen as well. He's called Ottoman Azad, so he can fight for another day, but these Rajputs will just close. And the thing is, crossbows can't infinitely kite. I suppose he's going to try and pull crossbows with both pike and huss. He's trying. Look at the huss. They can't do it. He hasn't got enough huss. And Rajputs slapping it in. Oh my god, the pike's going down. The pikes do not kill Rajputs. Rajputs are Rillers on steroids, and everything's fighting here.
There's so much anti-cav. Don't forget these Azaps are in the mix as well. And the Hussar mass has just been absolutely wilted down. I was thinking it was getting a little bit worrying for them. I'm not sure why Kaiserklein... And Kaiserklein's called it there! Kaiserklein's called it there. No, it looks so good for him. It looks so good for him. But he managed to get the flank. He managed to get the snare. Even though Kaiserklein backed off at the perfect time, somehow he allowed the Rajputs just to get that flank on the snare on, and everything else just connected, and the SARS just got absolutely melted. Wow, not really sure it was over.
Rajput, na 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 na. Oh, Rajput, na 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 na.
Wow.
Oh, Rajput. Now, so in a serious note, there, like if Kaiser Klein went full musketeers, I think he might be fine to carry on in the game. But yeah, Rajputs are the thing is that the Rajputs are there designed to kill cav and siege buildings, but they don't. It's not just that. It's just they do actually have too high of a base damage versus all the other stuff as well, and actually a very generous HP. I mean, okay, they are expensive units, so whether they are slightly out of scale, the cost not is a bit of a question. But no, that was very very good batch. But the thing is, I think as well is the Ottoman constant in general, Azaps and constant Huss just doing so much work.
Was it actually over? The scores were very similar. I mean, the mass is slightly in Ezad's favour. There's still 4 Hussars. There's still 4 Hussars.
No, we're not playing that game. We're not playing that game. As when GG's called and the resign button's hit, the analysis stops. We're not looking into the future. We're looking into now.
Okay.
But I see what you're saying. I think potentially maybe were all the yaks eaten. If the yaks were eaten, then possibly. If they're still there, maybe not. Could Kaiser have fought potentially going for last like pen and kind of
the winner has to pick first, so that essentially the loser of each game gets a counter pick, and it's just a nice little comeback kind of mechanic where it gives the loser a little bit of an advantage. So clearly here Ezad has gone for Japan, and Kaiser Klein has wanted that sexy counter pick of Malta. One other thing else to mention as well, we're going to be going on to Siberia, and this is the map that my Discord channel decided to pick. And there was a multiple choice out of 3, and they've decided to pick Siberia. I think it won by... I think it got about 11 or 12 votes, which was in the lead by about 3 votes. So, yeah, people do like Siberia. I imagine we will see Kaiser Klein do some rush here, some bow pike rushing. He's going to be doing a market start, which is clear sign that there's going to be a bow pike rush. That is what Kaiser Klein is known for as well, under his pseudonym, Bow Enjoyer. So we'll see what's going to happen there, but I think it's pretty predictable. We'll take a quick look over Ezad. He's going to be playing Japan, starting with some nice berries there. Going to be chopping for some gold, so I wonder what he's going to be using that for. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out, and we'll see what his defense is. Now, one other thing to notice as well, the main herd, or 2 herds for Ezad, is actually at the back of his base. So if he tries to do standard wonder, it's not going to be in a defensive position. So maybe his only option realistically here, if he wants to defend well, is to have Tory gates at the front of his base, because it kind of, wonders tend to act as like a big wall. So we'll see if that's what he's going to decide to do. Picking up a nice 40 wood treasure there. I believe he chopped the gold, or mined the gold, so he could buy 100 wood just to get that extra shine popped down. Very nice. Shipping 2 villagers first card. Take a quick look at Kaiser Klein. He's decided he's got the TP as well. Okay, so he's gone full greed. So he's actually gone TP and hunting dogs. So I'm actually going to suggest at this point of the game, because I reckon we'll see a 16 village up instead of 15. And that will be the big giveaway. I think we're going to see German tongue. But we'll take a quick look. He does have it in his deck, but he does have a very... do you know what? I actually don't know. He's... I mean, I'm not sure I can agree with a 24 pikeman card or a 12 pikeman card. But this is Kaiser Klein we're talking about. So maybe we will see some early H2 here. Gonna go with the 16 village up. I know Harrison, whilst he's scoffing that pizza, is gonna be screaming or grunting that that's definitely not the right option.
No, it's
here.
Not too bad.
You've changed your mind, have you? You've changed your mind.
Well, no, I'm not screaming about it. I don't think it's the right way to play it. I don't think it's that amazing. Just remembering the last time we did see Malta versus Japan, Malta double relax Russian Japan getting cleaned up by defensive Nagis, Big Boy Chess taking down the Lion. So maybe guys just watched that game thinking, you know what? I don't want to double relax Japan. I want to just boom myself, and we're going to find out how much he's going to go into wood, and the fact that he's still on food. Like, Kaiser's a great player. He would not be gathering food at this moment in time if he was going German tongue. I still don't see it. I think he's just going to go.
No, he's going to be rushing.
Some bills forward.
He's definitely going to be rushing at this point.
It's German tongue. It's a great early game card. It's also, you can still send it later on. It's not a you must send an H1 card. It is good as the game goes on. We do actually see the Sugar Shrine, which I think here is actually playing the role of, he wants, obviously, a little bit of extra eco, a bit of housing space, but it's the export he wants for the maybe Konshai Mabushi? No, Shinobi no Monos. He wants a Shinobi no Mono Bowman, I think, to defend versus Crossbow Rush, and Vils are moving out. It's it's iffy because, Japan has got an in-base tower, it does have a town center, does have all its food in its base, and if Kaiser Klein opens pikes to siege the shrines, well, he's not going to have enough crossbows to deal with essentially near enough full Yumi archers, and Yumi archers are very good. And the thing is, I think how the game kind of trades is crossbows should be better than pure anti-heavy infantry archers like the Aena's Seaton bows, but they should lose versus kind of the skirmisher style archers of the longbow, of the Yumi archer, maybe another type, that kind of intricate dynamic between different types. And Kaiser Klein going weaken the court straight away. He's just not going full in. He knows it. He just can't. Ezad has got Yumi archer ships. He's got double building fire. He has export to send. It's not worth going all in super early. Just play the map, play options, and Kaiser Klein going to stagecoach.
Yeah, getting all 3 TPs at like almost the 5 minute mark, it's not something I've actually seen. Going to be opening up with a single barracks, or hospital if you will, and going to be opening up with pikes. This is actually a really good map for Ezad. I feel like this is a really good map for Japan because it's so very wide. It's more of a kind of horizontal map than it is a vertical. That makes it very difficult to siege down all of the shrines, and you can very much like to put the shrines on the very outskirts of the map, and it makes it very difficult and time consuming for your opponent to take them down. However, you know, Malta, I kind of feel like is a very good matchup against Japan. I feel like they've got that bowpike rushing ability, but he's really not going all in, which kind of surprised me actually. Now going to get some.
I'm even more surprised by in-base stable as building #1 here from Ezad. That's kind of not what you want versus a standard bowpike opening. You kind of just want to have a barracks down, Yumi Archer, maybe go pure Yumi Archer and send the consulate pikeman to siege the buildings. Now that the game state has changed a little bit with the Kaiserklein going for the 3 TP stagecoach, go for Naginata riders for Malta, who's been sat in base. He's got TC, outpost fire. I don't see what is going to get done here from Ezad, and Kaiserklein's going to say thank you very much. I know I can just train pikemen, siege buildings, and I'm not going to get cleaned up at Cav because I've got pikemen.
Although I agree on paper that can work. If he idles his villagers for long enough time, he's just going to get the eco. He's going to get the eco lead. So how is Kaiserklein going to defend this? Is he going to send pikemen back?
Kaiserklein's top player though. He can just put villas in one side and pop them out the other side. It's not.
It's
not like the end all. And the thing is, Naginata riders, they are cavalry, but they're not hussars in terms of raid ability. And they can defensive pikemen. Oh my god!
Wow, and 3 of them going down.
Yeah,
but he did pick up 2 villagers, so not a terrible trade for Ezad. Not an absolute terrible trade for Ezad.
Yeah. I mean, okay, it's fine in the sense that Ezad really wasn't expecting the defensive pike shipment that early on. I think. There's better value shipments, but that was just an unlucky time in there from Ezad's point of view. I just think the stable play in general is getting really awkward really quickly because now on double racks bow pike, we haven't actually got a mass to counter this. And if you're sending your first Yumi Archers now here from Japan's point of view, you've kind of missed your time to try and get ahead.
And it's go time. War. It's go time, and I like the little adjustment there he got great coats there. I know that's one of your favourite techs, Harrison. You're a big believer in that. Just because he's seen the Hazar raid, so that's how he's going to try to limit the amount of villagers he loses here. But
Dutch consulate! Oh no, Ethan, what are you doing?
This is bizarre. So he's going to want to get that bank, no doubt. 2 villagers goes down.
I mean, Big Boy Chiss in the chat, our Japan expert, saying GG already, and I just feel like you're not even attempting to get on the board with archer-based units. This feels a bit like waving the white flag.
Blue Guard! When was the last time we saw Japan get bloody musketeers from the Dutch consulate? That's kind of hilarious. The TC does go down, so the pikes just this whole time sieging on the TC. That's a really nice pickup for Kaiserklein, and he's already shipped in one of the upgrade cards for bow pikes, and they're already really tanky. The second one coming in now as well. He's had stagecoach the entire time, and the game is over before the 9-minute mark. Holy crap! I have you ever seen a rush like that before? I haven't seen Malta do anything like that. Kaiserklein, you sneaky little devil, and you know for a fact that he's practiced that build order before. He has practiced that build order.
I mean, hold up, like that's not a rush. That's not a rush.
I mean, that looks like a forward base to me, Harrison.
I mean, okay, it doesn't sound like a rush. A rush, by definition, is cutting economy to go for a fast military. That seems like Kaiserklein aged up, going 3 TP stagecoach, 1 racks, train like a couple of pikemen here and there, and then going, okay, now my economy's set. Now I'm just making, that's in the books called the timing push. And the fact that Ezad here was going for cavalry play to start off with, I have no idea what's going on.
As much as you love correcting me and as much as I love it, that was an extremely convincing win. And wow, Kaiserklein really showing the power of Malta there. And showing the power of Malta without using German tongue. Almost 9 times out of 10, we're seeing Malta go for the German tongue. But Kaiserklein just showing everyone that you can actually do, an eco timing, if you will, eco with something other than German tongue. So yeah, I'm really happy to see that. Early hunting dogs, getting Gangster in, going 3 TP stagecoach, having that forward base, getting both those hospitals up, getting the it was just such a refined build order from Kaiser Klein there. I really enjoyed that. I'm also a DLC enjoyer. All right, I've said it. There, I've said it. All right, I'm a filthy DLC enjoyer. So I did enjoy that.
Yeah, Ezad saying never going to Nagasaki again. I mean,
Ezad, yeah.
The thing is, like, you can watch it back, and this game is just me going, I've got no idea what Ezad's trying to do here, and yeah, unlucky with the pike catch in Kaiser Klein's base, but we're never attempting to challenge the bow pike mass, and it just kind of just fell apart so badly. But like, I want to state on record here. Yeah. I think not going German tongue as Malta is better than going German tongue as Malta. I just don't like the really kind of like age 2 French bow pike rush style play of. It's not my cup of tea in terms of enjoyment. And what Kaiser Klein has done is essentially replace the German tongue with stagecoach and then just gone for like bow pike play. And I mean, if we did that again and Ezad was playing Germany and went in base racks, the game goes differently. So it's more, without sounding like a pooper, that one was more Ezad than Kaiser. I'm sorry to say it.
In a chat when I saw that.
Oh, Eero Otto. Like this is like the classic. It's like the classic RE, like both civs double racks rush middle and see what happens. But obviously that's not going to be how it's going to be played here. We'll have to find out how these two players are going to play it. See Ezad playing as the Ottomans spawns east of the map in the colour green. Kaiserklein here playing as the Haudenosaunee / Iroquois spawns the west map in the colour blue. Travois moving forward. It's not a TP Travois, is it? So he's just got to scout the map looking for the sheep. Most likely a house, otherwise he would have docked already, because you're not going to find a dock in the middle of a Saguenay. It's always on the top side, so I guess he's just scouting. And I think this gives us so much information. I think Kaiserklein already preferring potential farm starts here with livestock gathering and extra food bonuses, maybe going for an eco play style behind this. But that's as much as I can talk about the Discovery Travois there, Lion. I'd love to try and pad it out even further.
There's not actually too much to talk about. Obviously, I mean, there was a nice.
Oh, I've got something to talk about. What about for a potential Iroquois change? Whoa, wait for this one. One of the age ups is replaced with a single mantlet or veteran mantlets, but you can then train veteran mantlets from your siege workshop.
Oh, wait, that's a cool change.
How do you get a siege workshop? Well, you could either build it with your second age wagon, or you could build it with your first stage discovery wagon, because obviously discovery wagon can't build a war hut. Oh, that'd be interesting. So then you have this argument of, oh, 3 villas is too good, or 3 villas are too bad, or everyone's aging up the messenger, or this or that. Be interesting.
Ezad stealing that treasure for 130 XP, which is absolutely huge. And that's actually a cool... I like that from you, Harrison. That's thinking outside the box. That's not like you. But... yeah, I mean, I think I've seen Talanis in chat, so maybe Talanis is listening.
Okay, I'm gonna stay to here once until the units do come out. But Aena's having a 1 speed rate of fire in combat for when a single unit is within the minimum distance to kind of, then it's not that it's 1 speed versus the unit in close. It's if one enemy unit is in close range, then they have 1 speed versus any target they choose. It is offensive. That change is offensive. That needs to get immediately hotfixed. A 50% damage increase in combat. Are you mental?
I have to say, it does potentially feel too strong. Do you think that could have been part of Kaiser Klein's decision making for why he's picked this Haudenosaunee here?
It has changed how kind of Age 2 play quite a bit, and the thing is, there's no real Tomahawks. They are one of the best anti-cav musketeers in the game in melee. They have like a 17 melee attack with a ×3. They shred through. That's their specialist forte. And then Aena's in close combat. Like most of the time, you see like archers running away, but Aena's are now charging towards the targets and going. Yeah, it's very strong. I had a great game cast in Optimus Prime and Kevin showed us some great play styles around with Age 2 play with the Hold on, and it just looks incredibly strong. Obviously, we're going to need many more games and many more kind of matchups to kind of actually quantify specifically, but it just feels like it's just the wrong decision.
What's your thoughts on the farm start here? Because
Love it.
you love it. I mean, we
Yep.
do have 3 sheeps, but normally you would see a dock start from Haudenosaunee on this map.
It's H1 XP, it's a sheep, it's the access to upgraded food income. All your ANs cost pure food as well, so if you can get further food techs, it's pretty nice. It is good. I mean, the dock start is very good, and you see people chop in, and we always talk about, oh, is Kevin, the hero enjoy here, going to go for a 3 villager transition or a 3 fishing boat transition or a 5 fishing boat transition? Would he maybe go squeeze in the 6th? Like, all these minor things, but you know, wood income is actually really, really slow early on, and the fishing boat's income isn't great. But when you've got all these vills, maybe 8, I reckon he's aging up with 3 vil. Yeah, aging up with 3 vil. There's a Travois. Might send in 5 vil, 4 vil. I can't remember what the Civ has in terms of vil departments. But there's a lot of... There's a healer as well. Wait, 3 vil and a healer?
Yeah, he aged it with the chief, yeah.
Wait, 3 vil and a healer?
That's what came out.
Well, since when's that been in the game?
You're supposed to be the expert here.
I'm an expert with Cids I enjoy, but well, I mean, I thought 3 vil was balanced, but now they got a healer as well. Okay, that's pretty strong. Pretty
Interesting.
good.
It's going to be going up with the 4 Canyon Horseman first. I imagine he's going to want this war hut built, so he can send it from there from a shipment point.
It's 2 vils in the healer because 3 vils was too strong, wasn't it? That's interesting.
But I mean, that 2 vils and 1 healer is probably better anyway, because this healer's currently producing 1 XP a second.
I had to argue though, but China has a 3 vil age up stage 2 and a god power. Like, come on. Like, it's 3 vils and a god power, so we're gonna see like a 2 vil disciple change. Like, oh, always crazy stuff. But Tomahawk big button coming in. The 4 cannons coming in for an early push as well. And I'm sure we're gonna back this up with ANs once we've seen Jan's being trained and defensive racks. Defensive racks. Kaiser's gonna love this, and yes, the first AN has now been trained.
I'm not sure about this. This barracks looks quite awkward as well. The positioning of it, it's just, I don't feel like it's got a lot of counterplay potential in here. Maybe he wanted to see a defensive one, but he did go for 5 vil first, so he's going for an eco play by Ezad. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It just feels a little bit awkward to me. But we'll see. You've got 10 Jans out now. Going to be going for this TP to start with. I like that. I feel like if he gets a couple of these ANs out, he's going to need a good chunk of them to really contest and do a lot of damage to these Janus areas. We'll see what Ezad's response is. Is he going to decide to go for the age up, or is he going to decide to get Abbas guns right now? Abbas guns would probably be a really nice play here. We'll keep a close eye on the rate of fire. I know it's your favourite thing at the moment. The rate of fire, how it increases. It goes from 1.5 to, I think the maximum it goes up to is 1. So
yeah. So here's the situation. Role reversal. Ezad's playing Eero, and Kaiser's playing Otto. Kaiser's thinking, I'm gonna be really smart here. I'm gonna summon my explorer from the Townsend. I'm gonna pay 100 gold, and I'm gonna get into melee mode, and I'm gonna snare the Animas. The only problem is that if you then have the Anas and right click all the other units not explorer, they're all just boosted to 1 speed fire rate, and boy, they even if it is momentarily, and even if it's not all the units, a couple having... It's not 50% damage on base stats on Colonial. It's 50% on the damage output of the final stats at that point. And then you cross-multiply that with War Dance at that point. We're talking about scaling in terms of powers here, not even multiplication or additive. It can get really scary really, really quickly. He's charging, and they're 5 speed. Of course, they're 5 speed. Look, he's getting in, and he's going to keep charging. He's going to keep getting close. Let's look at the stats of the big boys. Hussars coming in, and that's boosting all the enemies. Be careful, boys.
And that was really nice timing with the Hussar pop. Came out perfectly on the Canyon Horseman.
Look at him! Look at that! Hit him, boys! Hey, look at him, boy! He's standing still! Stand still and deliver, sir. That is what we do when we're playing Haudenosaunee. We are just... But okay, that's a lot of Abus gun and...
Wow, and as quickly as that. And we talk about Seaton bows, but we haven't talked about Abbas gunners, which are potentially the most OP unit in the game at the moment. So, yeah, just a couple of Abbas guns was all he needed there. A perfectly timed Hussar pop, and, yeah, easy as that.
Talala calling me out saying Ayana OP. Ayana OP. Just wasn't enough units there.
Yeah, really well played. I feel like he the timing just didn't feel like it was there. I feel like he should have carried on to sieging down this trade post. It felt like when Ezad backed off, he had plenty of time to carry on sieging this TP and maybe just mass up his army a little bit more. But yeah, really well played by Ezad.
Like it's one of those weird things. Like we saw Iro there age up with villagers. He has a farm. He has got livestock fattening, central techs. Otto here, defensive racks in base, one trading post. I'm not fearing the Ottoman like growth there in the second age, and there's time for Kaiser Klein to kind of adjust and react. And I think Lazar called it, saying that it's one can't time and push that late. I reserve judgment. I think the game could have been really close if that push didn't happen and we kind of carry on playing for another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Then building XP, generating buildings for free.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but there's a couple of things we could talk about. But moving on to the next game, we've got Kaiser Klein playing as Germany in the north of the map, and we've got Ezad playing as Lakota. I almost forgot their name then. That was terrible, wasn't it? I don't see this civilization that often. I almost forgot the name. But Lakota playing in the south of the map. Okay, great. Gonna have a market start here from Ezad. It's currently 2-2. So it's all to play for, and we've been extremely fortunate that every series of these we've done so far, and this is the third one, we've been extremely lucky with how close the games have been. Like every series has gone right down to the wire, and it looks like we've potentially got another one that's going to go right down to the wire. So yeah, you guys in chat, you lucky boys, this is absolutely great content.
Oh, don't mention the boys in chat. I'm biting at the lip. I'm biting at the lip right now. But we're in game number 5, and a match that we haven't actually seen for a long time. And I think we haven't seen a lot of Lakota play being played. Or should I say, when we do see Lakota being played these days, it doesn't actually feel like we're playing Lakota, because most games they open up with war hutsons, war clubs, and seats and bows. You barely see a cavalry unit being trained from Lakota these days. We've gone to like a really weird area for Lakota play style and design. And I always remember the EP days of like the classic maybe 4-axe semi FF or trying to go for the FF there, and like really hitting that timing with the Wakina shipment, and then a 10-axe pushing in hard and kind of playing from there. I mean, there was obviously problems with the death ball of just like the unkillable late age 3 Lakota army here, but I know that Ezad is playing it right now is a Lakota enjoy. He knows the Civ super well inside and out, and one of the things when you see people playing Lakota is they don't play it. I mean, they play it because they enjoy it, but they play it because they know it. Well, I mean, yeah, they play it because they enjoy it. They don't play it because it's strong. And when you enjoy a Civ so much, you get to know it, you get to learn it, you get to go inside and kind of explore everything. And Ezad will have a way to play versus Kaiser, and I kind of have a feeling on this map it might be potentially War Hut focused again because of the back 3 TP stagecoach potential here for Germany, the potential lack of hunts here for Germany, so they have to push for fighting. The infantry play is really good in its own right and can then lead as a springboard in for cavalry play as the game goes on. Bow Rider's nerfed in this patch to only have a 0.5 multiplier versus Vil, so the whole unique proposition of the Bow Rider does not exist anymore. I was so confused by that. I really enjoyed the nice balance that the 0.75 had there. Medicine wheels there. I believe that's like similar to Kalmakuk for Aztecs. Obviously, H4 has got the captured waters. He hasn't got the the 7 circle army, the 21 infantry, and the upgraded guard. That's a strong card. Has that combat card in the 4th age. Everything looks pretty standard. I think. Can we look at the Age 2 deck again? I think it's got like a 4 unit shipments in Age 2. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. No dog soldiers, but it has a 2 Warhawk card in there, which is very strange. Is it 2 Warhawk card? I think it is. 2 Warhawk card and pack down ability. Oh, I'm sure Kaiser Klein would love to see buildings moving around the map. That would really get me in the mood to play some more Age of Empires 3. just the thought of that.
Just a couple of things to mention in chat. Thank you very much for the sub, the gifted sub from Drownage, giving it to my man Talanis. Couldn't have given it to a better person.
Yeah.
And to the Enclave as well for giving it in the last game. Thank you very much, guys, for the subs.
Very kind, very kind. I've done as an explorer mid-map.
Oh, and the Rangers coming in as well. Sorry to interrupt there, Howson. Jaeger coming in with a big Raider 25. How you doing, everyone? We've got, in case you've missed it, we've got big boy Kaiser Klein taking on Ezad in a best of 7. It's currently 2-2, so all to play for.
Wow, the big air chair has dropped by the live stream. I feel blessed now. Our Treaty 40 daily YouTube uploader is makes us feel very special to have him in our presence, and he's more than welcome to drop by a Supremacy stream, which I'm sure one day will slightly convert him towards. So into the game, Ezad here looking defensive, going forward 2 war huts. We do actually see Germany going for 4 tower, 1 barracks, the classic Kaiser Klein tower rush. I expecting his first cards to be crossbows, and Ezad's just saying, yeah, nah, double in-base war hut, get the TP line out, stagecoach, and once the war huts go up, I don't really know what Ezad does. I guess he tries to raid the far western trading post and block stagecoach. What to find out? Crossbows coming in. One does go down already, so that's a nice little pickup. But he will see the double war huts, and I don't think Kaiser's ever faced double in-base war hut Lakota, so I don't know what his reaction will be. A nice field pull there from Ezad, keeping that alive and getting builds in the town centre. And Kaiser's gone offensive here. He's gone aggressive. He needs to get damage done. But how? How can he get the damage done though?
It's extremely difficult, and one thing to mention, Ezad has gone for all 3 TPs, and he's going to be getting stagecoach in very shortly. So Ezad's going to be absolutely fine about this, as long as he keeps those TPs up. And on this map, they're very defensive TPs. They're right behind his base. So Kaiserklein's almost going to have no way of dealing with these TPs. And if those TPs stay alive, his eco is going to be absolutely fine. So we'll see what damage he can possibly do here. He does pick up 1 villager, but can he do anything else? Almost all his pikes going down, and the market's going to be standing still. So
Ezad's just managed to send in 700 wood and actually get away with it. Like, this is because I feel like going stagecoach behind us. I think has just come in now is greed enough in its own right, but he's got his entire stagecoach on food because he's got enough wood from the shipments. He needs to spam units out like no tomorrow just to kind of get some map control. But once he's got some units out, the world's his oyster really. Like, look at Kaiser Klein, no TP at all. He might have an in-base church built with a settler wagon, most likely, to get XP going, but Ezad's absolutely fine here and just going to pull back to defensive fire. There's the Axe Rider coming out, and that's a big catch. Warhut's doing massive damage to the Uhlans, so is the Axe Rider in the town centre, and the push so far has killed 1 villager, but that's about it. Like, what else can Kaiser do here?
it was just like the last game with the Hazard pop or the Ottoman Cav pop. Just Axe Riders just getting the perfect pop that they could on just taking down those 2 Uhlans, and just feels like Ezad's getting this really fortunate pops here.
I've got it. Cav pop from Home City shipments. This patch has been buffed, or this patch, last patch, has been buffed hugely because potential for getting on top of skirmishers, crossbows, light infantry in that situation is really high. Most of the time, those units are up and close underneath buildings, and as soon as cavalry get on top of those units are barely doing any damage now. 0.6 multiplier versus heavy cavalry, so instantly those cav are being effective in tanking, in snaring, in doing damage, and that effect has been pronounced as a result of that extra effective range HP versus skirmishers. And yeah, like with those 4 axes, if the Uhlans not really wanting to fight, the crossbows aren't going to turn around and pick them off. They might do like 10 crossbows might do a quarter of a damage to an axe rider in one volley, maybe a third. They're not doing a half at the moment in this patch, and that makes those axe riders so valuable early on in the game.
Dop's coming out now for Kaiser Klein. They're both of these guys are sticking out on age 2. They know there's going to be a big battle at some point. Ezad feels really comfortable here. He's actually edged it in score. That's kind of insane for Lakota at this stage of the game, and I feel like the longer this goes on, the more beneficial it is for Ezad. He's got plenty of safe herds here. This is going to be another 5 minutes of herd time. He's still got these herds up here as well, so he can definitely take control of this. Kaiser Klein does have the map control. He does have the opportunity to ship 2 caravels onto this lake or on this side of the water.
The caravels won't do anything here. It's just too far, and fundamentally, the problem here for Kaiser is that Ezad has got a nice little base built up with little buildings and little mines and little war huts and berry bushes and all this. causing a pathing nightmare. And he's got archers which fire at 1.5 speed with a double multiplier versus anything heavy infantry. And crossbows, they are good, but they've got no upgrades on them. And there's 2 buildings, town centre potential. I don't think we've only got, I'm just seeing +8s everywhere, mate. I'm just seeing +8s and Kaiser's backing, and he's still no TP on the offensive, looking to put the pressure on, but he just can't get anything done. He's realised that he's lost a fight before he starts, and I respect that a lot. A lot of players sometimes just commit and go, yeah, well, I'm destined, this isn't going to go, oh well, let's just roll the dice. But I think Kaiser realised, right, not going well, but can I do something about this? Can I get him out of the base? Can I try and pivot strategy? Can I go to the fortress stage? Can I do something? Can I do anything? Instead of just walking into the Lakota lair there.
And just such a huge mass of these Seaton bowmen. Kaiser Klein just can't do anything against this mass, and it just feels just dirty. Like, what is his counterplay here? Maybe Cav, but
and Lakota still hasn't trained any Cav. He's just gone pure infantry at the moment. There's no stable down. Those axe riders are still up from ages, and the war clubs, again, really good units these days. High siege as well. That's the outpost goes down. Yeah, he's actually not even cared too much, but he's actually got Orlan's on top of his Setons. He's just kind of just tanking it and just kind of beating them back. Potential forward TP being built there. I can't quite remember if they're boosting HP. I think they are. Yeah, I don't think it's stacks anymore. So a little bit extra HP there. More crossbows being coming out. And okay, you know what? The army here is getting close.
I mean, it's really good micro by Kaiser Klein. He's actually really great micro here. I would actually like to see some dots be produced from the barracks. I mean, that last the 5 expos that were just produced could have been 5 dots, and they could have just got an absolute massive melee snare on all his units and really caused a lot of damage. But he's decided to go for Cav instead.
Versus Seaton bow, Club Warrior, what you need is Orlan crossbow. Is how you want to play it. It's the unit comp you really need, and the thing is, the Seaton bows are just too good versus hand infantry with the multiplier and the fire rate. It's just one of those. It's kind of and pathing. You kind of need to be on top. I appreciate if those units popped out there on top, they could have got value, but that's what we're talking about, value, not like turning the tide of the war.
Sorry, my game just spazzed out a little bit there. I apologise. But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with the unit composition, but just adding that 5 dot units could have just been absolutely devastating for the bowman. But I mean, Kaiser Klein's doing quite well here. The barracks does go down. He still has a really good mass of anti-cav here, which really he's kept throughout this entire fight.
Look at German macro though. This is the thing. Like, Kaiser's like, if he's kind of in, Kaiser doesn't know if he wants to age or not. Doesn't know if he wants to like really put like APM into the micro or just we're in a bit of an interesting spot. I think Ezad realizes he doesn't want to push out any longer in Age 2. All the TPs onto gold. He has the food. He's looking to get onto. I like to think at some point he's going to go onto was it the mining in base? What is it? It's not mining. It's fur trading or pelt trading, whatever it is, to get the gold income. Because he's just spammed all that gold onto Axe Rider Seaton, and yet he now stable, so he's just going to go Axe Seaton, which is a nice little combo. Obviously, Axe Rider's 160 food, 40 gold, very food heavy, and that's what Ezad's pretty good. I assume Ezad has now sent in the spice trade plus food crate shipment in Age 2. I wonder how much value he got from that. It'd be insane. Look.
Of what, sorry?
The Age 2 Lakota card, hunting, and yeah, I mean, it's probably going up now even after it sent it, but yeah, that's like, assume he sent like 600 food plus.
That is a really good card.
30 plus 20% food eco. Like, that card is just insane. It is absolutely insane in terms of immediate value and eco value. And when you got your macros so that your Sagecoach is on non-food resources and most of your income is food, it's pretty good and applies under pressure.
And it's going to be go time.
Stage, though.
He is in the next stage. He is in the next stage.
And you know what? I'm feeling, it's a Friday night, and I'm feeling the mood for a Kaiser shipment, pop, clean up, Minutemen, Explorer buyback, set the wagons tanking, there's the Orlands dropping out, all this all in one.
And the Verity's coming out, and the 9 Ullans are coming in. This is the timing.
Not many.
Plus the Minutemen are coming in. It's go time. We're going to see a big fight. And how many clubmen does Ezad have?
He's blocking off. He's went down to try and block off. He's got the snare in now. But it's got pikemen to do with the Axe Riders. And the Seaton Birds will get some massive volleys going. And I think the best thing he can do is a trade. He's not going to win this fight, not by a close.
Oh, and
mile.
everything's getting smashed in, and there's just
War
there's
Dance
no
is in.
more
War
pipes.
Dance is in.
Oh, we got Doppelstonders, we got veteran Ulans just smashing into these bowmen. And they're getting melted away, but they're doing a good job. There's pikemen on these cav. I don't know which way is it going to go.
There's still a decent amount of Lakota cav there. Now, he's not going to win the fight, but he's got a couple cav now onto the Minutemen, 1 HP, crossbows tanking. The seats and bows going versus anything. High damage, high rate of fire. War Dance really putting on massive damages there. And if that was like the hurrah that Kaiser wanted to clean up the forces, it hasn't quite worked. But the thing is, he's stuck in H2 now. He kind of has to remaster, protect himself from the H3 fortress play. So overall, could have been better there for Kaiser, but I think he'd be quietly happy with actually how that went.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it could have gone a lot better, but, you know, Germany have got those really big power cards, and there's about 4 or 5 of them. You know, 9 Ulans is just the tip of the iceberg. He's got 8 Ulans.
Ezad's agent up with 0 units.
It could be dire, and Kaiser Klein might sniff this out, and if he does, this is the time he needs to counter push, and he needs to do as much damage as he can to Ezad. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult to catch up. The score is really heavily in Kaiser Klein's favour now, and don't forget that fight gave an insane amount of experience for Kaiser Klein, so he's really going to be able to utilise all those power play cards that Germany has. We'll see what the next one's going to be. Ezad is almost aged up now. He's trying to beat some club warriors, trying to get some axe riders. Is it going to be the right composition though? There's war wagons out. There's still some skirms or expos rather. I'm sure we'll see some skirmishes soon. He's got some veteran cav still as well. What does Kaiser Klein make here, Harrison? What's his main unit that he needs to make? Is it cav? Is it skirmishers? What?
I don't know. I mean, I'm happy to see the war wagon there because you've got enough amount of hands cavalry because you can kind of. You kind of know that he can always send rifle riders at any point, not rifle riders. Rifle riders at any point to counter with the heavy infantry and the Ulans. You got the axe riders there from Lakota to tank, the explorer to tank as well. So all those are potential targets there for the war wagon to pick up with, long range, high damage. And the thing is, Lakota, he's just lost his ANMAS or CTMAS, should I say. He can go Akinas, but Akinas they're just not great. They're good, but they're not great, and it'd be very tough to try and beat down on Kaiser with Kinas. He's going to have to go for like a cav timing with Axe Rider, Wikinas, and maybe potential Rifle Rise, try and get an engagement. Interesting to see that Kaiser Klein's still on all the gold in his base, noting that he went wood food units H2, so his gold mines are still preserved, so he's not actually out of resources, which I think some people might be banking for at 17 minutes German play if he's going for more of a standard Ulan semi. So
Kaiser Klein does see... Now, this is what I was talking about, where Ezad definitely had about 5 or so minutes, maybe a bit longer, of all these herds that were in his base. Now he's ran out of pretty much all of them. He's had to really go far out on the map. And Kaiser Klein does see this as well. So once Kaiser Klein kind of catches an eye on this and thinks, right, where's his eco going to be at this stage of the game? He should send some cav over there. So hopefully
I think he is. There's a couple of blue things going on.
Oh, there is a couple. There is a couple, but he's decided to go for this stable instead. He does have the option to go for these healers as well, which would be nice. But looks like we're going to see a timing here from Ezad. He's going to potentially cut off any resources, but nothing's coming, so he's just going to be diving in. Is he going to have anything coming from the stable? That's the timing. He does. He wants to protect these axe riders, but he's not going to be able to, which is a massive shame for Ezad. But it still looks like he thinks it's go time. He's got some rifle riders in the back.
That is not enough to engage that. This is... War Dance, maybe. He's up against the coast, so he can't run anymore. So he can't really kite anymore. Actually, all the clubs are chasing down the Urlands. The axe is on the war wagons, and the skirms just hugging the coast. So, I mean, as a place to fight, this is as good. And all the club warriors are actually doing massive damage. I think they're elite, and look at the Urlands just melt. But I think the war wagons staying alive is just going to be a bit too good there, and they're going to clean up those rifles easily. They're enjoying that, and that's going to be I think a German... Well, look at
I don't know. There's so many club warriors.
Look at the club warriors. They are smashing on the right side. And like, in terms of trade, that might be fine. With I don't really see how Lakota gets to the Lakota dog soldier big button here behind this. But It's just it's just the war wagons. Like, how are Lakota killing the war wagons?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of Wakina rifles here, and I have to say, I very rarely doubt Kaiser Klein's micro. He's been almost perfect with his micro this entire series. However, I felt like he messed up quite bad with his skirmishers there. I would have liked to seen that mass of skirmishers, like, killing the Club Warriors 3 at a time, but it just felt like he was fumbling on that a little bit, and just let the Club Warriors kind of survive for too long there. So that was a little bit unfortunate micro for Kaiser Klein there. Does look like we're going to see some villager action there. There is some raiding going on, but has he found this big mass over here? Doesn't look like he has just yet, but he is going to see this. Ezad and Kaiser Klein know exactly what's going on here, and it's whoever can get Cav over there the quickest, and it looks like Kaiser Klein's going to rebound with Cav the quickest. There's only rifles and some Club Warriors here to protect them.
Look at Kaiser's population. He's got 108, soon to be a little bit higher population. He's got so much stuff reinforcing over, and yeah, Ezad's only sort of a couple of skirms, a couple of clubs. Like, it's enough to do with the Huss raiding, but as soon as war wagons come in and they're the micro element to attack from range, it's starting to look pretty dicey. And the thing is, he had to age fast because of the situation, so he did not age up with the bisons and the hunting tech, which, as the game goes on, would have been really, really nice. He's got facility dance, but without food income, you just can't make good use of that. And unfortunately, Ezad's starting to kind of like struggle. Patagonia is a map where the actual natural resources are limited. They're not sparse. They are fair as well. It does provide this interesting dynamic, but Ezad's kind of got to the point. He's out of natural resources, but he just doesn't have the army to challenge the remaining ones. So he's kind of having to wait for Kaiser Klein to walk in, and as the time goes on, Kaiser's just again enjoying. He's also now on a 3 TP stagecoach comedy, but because he's a European, he's got some slightly better market text. You know, Ezad does have the hunting upgrade card as well.
He also has free TPs as well. One thing to note, he does have free TP stagecoach at the top. Yeah, now, this is the sort of, and we're going to see a counter raid for Ezad. He's kind of getting desperate, and this is sort of the only thing he can really do at this moment in time. He can't contest Kaiser Klein's superior mass. So what he's going to do, he's going to try and get some cheeky raids in here. That's one settler wagon that goes down. Looks like the second settler wagon is going to go down, and that's 40 XP as well. Looks like it's just about that's what all he's going to be able to do. That's a decent Wakina rifle mass here. Definitely going to take down these 5 skirmishers. Now, what's Kaiser Klein's response going to be? Is he going to decide to run all the way back? But he's going to decide to run in the base instead. Going to potentially get a big villager raid inside. Oh, and they all just pop inside. Very nice, Micro.
He's sending a frigate to the ponds, and there's a lot of villagers hunting on the side there, and that's... out of all things to worry about, like, a frigate in the pond is not on the top of these, is probably... is on the list of, yeah, I can never, ever get back onto that or never deal with that. I don't think Ezad's even got 4 battleships in his deck, or warships, shall I say, or war canoes. Yeah, there's no way Kaiser Klein, Ezad can challenge that, and it was looking so good for so long.
It really was. It really was.
Ezad seemed to run out of steam. I don't know how this German eco has like just overtaken so much as the game's gone on, but it is eco driven. This score league, definitely. Dog Soldier, big button. Not too many war wagons here, and we're keen to get some picks on them. They're okay, reinforcing war wagons. The thing is, the Dog Soldiers, they're not great versus cavalry as well. So overall, it'd be a Lakota army win, but sometimes to win the war, you may lose a few battles, but you just take trades overall, and as the game goes on, be better.
It's sacking off his skirmishers.
I love that hanging back the skirmishers to protect the remainder of the forces. That's a great play in terms of quantifying the threat, quantifying what is the damage dealer, and he doesn't. Skirms are not going to kill the Dog Soldiers, and keeping the war wagons alive has essentially sealed the game. Game's called GG, and Kaiser Klein, from essentially me writing him off earlier this game, saying there's no he's going to win, to he's actually won. Fair play, well played. I metaphorically clap my hands. Like, I'm going to physically clap my hands as well. Yeah, well played.
I think one thing we underestimated, Harrison, was this whole time we was talking about Ezad's eco, but Germany's eco is good. That's one thing I think we denied there, was the fact that Kaiser Klein, his eco was okay. It hadn't been touched. He hadn't been raided. Obviously, Germany have 3 settler wagons, which is one of the best cards in the game. It's the equivalent of 6 villagers in Age 2. So yeah, I think not to mention as well, the thing that kind of saved Kaiser Klein was this kind of Expo Pike has Ulan micro at that first big battle, and Kaiser Klein, there was just no way he should have come off as well as he did, but the micro was just absolutely fanatical, and he kept himself in the game long enough to be able to get into age 3 and to get those super power play shipments, the 9 Ulans, the 3 war wagons, the 8 skirmishes, etc. And I think that's what won him the game. This first fight and that just absolutely fantastical micro kept him in the game, even though Ezad the entire time had the better mass. So yeah, really well played to both players, but Kaiser Klein, yeah, just really, really good micro. We'll take a quick look at the post-game village account, but with Germany, you need to look at the village population. There we go.
You're struggling, aren't you? You're struggling.
I am a little bit. So yeah, just having the superior villager micro, even though Ezad had the 3 TPs, this whole entire time, Kaiser Klein did have the better eco with regards to villagers. We'll take a quick look at resources gathered. Pretty close. Ezad did have the lead here, so
so Ezad had the stronger eco age 2. Like, there's no question.
3 TPs, yeah, 100%.
He had TPs. He had 3 stagecoach. All that time before Kaiser got to the 3rd age, Kaiser was really only on 0 stagecoach or 0 train post. End of. So it's more of the fighting, and I think once Ezad was starting to push out, he could have thought about going to the 3rd age before he started trying to really push in. But unit control there from Kaiser was also very nice. I did see quite a few season bows being hung out in places where a couple of the lands were like, oh, there's actually some free pickups for me. There's no club boys.
Okay, cool. Right, let's move on to the next game. So this is potentially, it is match point for Kaiser Klein. So Ezad's going to have to call this one back to potentially win the overall series and win the juicy prize of £50. We'll kick it off, and we've got in the north of the map, Kaiser Klein in blue, playing the Portuguese. This definitely brings back some nostalgia for me for the good old Soap McTavish vanilla player. And Ezad playing Spain. So not only have we got a good old-fashioned vanilla map, which, ladies and gents, if you are listening to this back on YouTube, Harrison, my co-caster, did pick this map. So nice big nostalgia hit there. Anyone who doesn't know, who's local to the DE days, this map has been in the game since 2005 with the original Age of Empires 3 launch. So it's been through a couple of changes, but mostly all in all, it's very much stayed the same. Not to mention as well, both of these civilizations have been in since the vanilla days. So we've got ourselves a good old-fashioned vanilla matchup, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure this matchup has changed somewhat since the vanilla days. So we'll see what they're going to decide to do. Kaiser Klein going for very early TP, but he's still got 20 wood on there, so it looks like he probably, if we take a quick look at the treasures, did he pick up, he must have picked up some wood. Okay, so he picked up 25 wood, but that's about it. Yeah, okay.
Lion, don't be a pause enjoy just to check.
Oh, sorry,
treasures.
I apologise.
Tier 1
I
treasures.
apologise. I didn't mean to pause there. That was a hotkey malfunction, shall we call it? Hotkey malfunction.
Did you just unpause the game without asking the other player if they're ready for you to unpause the game?
Silly me.
Oh, controversial.
Yeah, in the future, it was paused. So, early hunting dogs, something to note as well, that quite often we're seeing Spanish players go for that starting TP. And I feel like I have to just drop this in here, but one thing I've sort of popularised myself is that 3 villager into capitalism and then into 5 villagers. The 3 villas into capitalism with a TP start has always been in the game since DE. However, the going into the 5 villagers has I've sort of popularised that fast fortress. It's a little bit slower than a normal fast fortress, but it's a very, very eco version of it. But I don't think we're going to see that sort of play from Ezad. It looks like we're going to go for early hunting dogs into a 700 gold fast fortress, or we might see some age 2 play here. You never know with Ezad. Ezad's style is very much to do some sort of age 2 play. He very rarely likes to go for that straight into the fortress age play and be left completely vulnerable to any rushes or Hussar raids. So yeah, expect the unexpected from Ezad. Whilst if we look at Kaiser Klein, I guess you could argue he plays somewhat more vanilla. However, as soon as I said that, he's gone for a good old-fashioned 10-10. But what's he going to do with the 10-10? Are we going to see 700 gold get shipped in H2? Are we going to see a forward base with a town centre? And are we going to see some good old-fashioned rushing Musk Expo Hussar rush with Portugal? It's definitely possible with Portugal. It's definitely possible with Portugal. However, you have to, your macro is extremely tight. So anyone watching this back, and I would very much say you have to practice this build order very, very heavily before you start taking a sort of build like this on the ladder, because the macro is so tight. But however, the advantage to it is he's going to be aging up at an absolutely insane time. And yeah, we'll see what he's going to do. Portugal.
Can you check his deck? Because I don't think he sent an H1 card yet. I think he's stacking.
No, he hasn't. Good old-fashioned Portugal saving their deck so their opponent can't see it. He's deciding not to send an H1 card, and right until the last second, he ships it, and that's what we're looking at. So it definitely looks like we're going to see some H2 play here. Got a lot of resource cards. Got both the military cards. He's going to be aging up. We'll have a quick look at Ezad. Capitalism's in there, but he hasn't got for TP start. So this definitely looks like more of a fortress oriented deck. So we'll see what he's going to go for there. 75 coin. He has aged up with the quartermaster, so he's going to be getting that wood. Looks like, what's he going to be using that wood for? I imagine we'll probably see a stable or a barracks. Maybe even another TP. Okay, we've got the market down. He's going to be herding up here. It definitely looks like he's planted it next to this big treasure here, and that's something to note.
Oh, shift bug! Look at that. He's just dropped down a market and said, "Yeah, no, not having that one." Oh, he's going back to build it now. He's like, "God damn it!"
One thing to note: Ezad has picked up a scout, and he's put it in invisible mode, and he's gonna see everything that Kaiser Klein wanted to do.
Kaiser Klein's missing his shift clicks again. He's really not enjoying this, is he?
He's not. No.
He's really not enjoying building a building. He's gonna. Oh, he pulled it back. Oh, he's just gonna pull it back a little bit. Maybe hide it from. There's a green dot on the map somewhere, but I can't see. It's a scout hidden somewhere. But oh my god, try and find the scout on the map. I'll give you prizes if you can see it.
That is one very stealthy scout.
Oh my god!
And it sees
the green
everything.
towel. The green tower blends into the green grass.
No, I can barely see it. Look at it. Look at it.
Sometimes the best scouts to hide in the base is a Dutch envoy just stood there in plain sight. He just looks like a tree after a while. Just stands there still. That guy works quite nicely.
I love this how we've gone for 700 gold, 700 wood, and then 700 food.
Yeah, no. So this is more of a standard classic 10-10. The thing is with 10-10 is you get to train double vills, supposedly. I mean, we're currently not trained double vills, but what it does enable to do is get some units out early, but you do need to send essentially all your crate cards just to get production moving. You need the gold to train the Huss, and then you need the food to train the vills. Realistically, I think Kaiser Klein should have gone 700 gold into 700 food, and then into 700 wood as a pivot there, so you can carry on that villager production while you are finishing that batch off. And you might need to buy maybe one click of wood at the market just to kind of ensure, or maybe just wait until you get your steel traps on the 700 wood. Maybe Kaiser Klein already has the steel traps nice and early, but this kind of crate play it's been around for ages, and it's kind of. It kind of reminds you of the days back where Portugal used to love going for advanced trading posts, which is a card we no longer see being used kind of ever. Taking XP in the middle, very, very nice, good use, and Great Plains always has two big treasures mid-map, which is always worth fighting for if you do have early H2 presence. Train some musks, or send some musks as well, and looking to maybe go for a bit of a musk cast semi-timing, but I don't think Kaiser Klein's staying in H2 completely committing. I hope he has 600 gold in his deck, because if not, he is staying in H2.
Well, it looks like he's going for timing. It looks like he's going for timing here. And one thing to notice, especially because he got that really heavy XP treasure as well. Ever since he's aged, he's constantly had a shipment in queue. And this is the power of the 10-10 with Portugal, not using a shipment in age 1 and just being able to get shipment after shipment after shipment. And, it's all about that tempo and being able to get as many age 2 shipments as quickly as possible. So, yeah, it looks like we might see a big timing here. He definitely isn't looking like he's going to be going for Fortress Age. Getting those bows, going for Musk Huss at this stage. He is on 21 vills, which is okay, considering he did a 10-10. But he's not going to be relying on his eco here, put it that way. So, Ezad will very soon be up. He's gone up with a scout, so that's going to be the Hussars. He's got a lot of anti-cav here, but has he got a way of dealing with this musketeer mass and the expos that are going to be following? Kaiser Klein knows this timing like the back of his hand. He knows that he's going to be waiting to go for the age up. Minutemen are coming in. This is the timing. This is why Spain are so notorious, why they can't be rushed. The Minutemen are coming in. The dogs are coming in. The Hussars are coming in. The pikes are coming in. Everything's going in. And is Kaiser Klein going to be able to hold this?
H3 dogs. There's the hustle and the age up, and Spain, the Civ you cannot rush, is kind of pushing back. I don't think we're to clean this up, but it's kind of making Kaiser Klein in an awkward position, because once the Musks go down to the Minutemen and Musk fire, the dogs are relatively unchallenged into the Hussar crossbows. Dogs are just insanely good, and I think Ezad may be tempted to send more. Lancers coming out, card number 1 here from Ezad, which is the right play. You do not want to be going for Falconets this early, especially when you train off the army. Kaiser will manage to hold this one. We need the dogs being trained full HP. Hopefully we get a full batch of 5, but we do need to consider backing at this point. I think he will back at this point. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
But with the dogs and now the Lancers and the Musketeers all popping up, it's going to probably be good for Ezad here. These Lancers are going to melt these Musketeers if they allow it.
Turning now. Oh, out they come. I think the Lancers will 3-shot a Musketeer as well, so those Musks aren't really able to offer too much resistance into veteran Lancers, and the Musks are moving in here from the Spanish player into melee range here of the Hussars if they can. A dog still biting and potential more dogs being trained. Ezad has mined a lot of gold at the moment, needs to kind of sort that one out to get into more food production. Just keep on training the dogs, and might even see market trading to get that final dog batch being bought. Minutemen have been called out here from Kaiserklein's point of view, so I guess backing off here at the moment is good, is fine. 4 more Lancers about to hit the field.
It's just shipment after shipment after shipment, and this is the power of Spain. You know, that crazy timing that they had. Kaiser Klein wanted to get in there, but he just didn't have enough units. And Lancers, you know, there's not a real strong counter for them in Age 2. You know, Musketeers and Pikemen are the best bet, but Lancers have that extra multiplier versus them. So yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle.
Do you want to hear the weird play next that Ezad could go for?
Go on.
2 Haciendas, Soul Daddy time.
No, well, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but however, the thing is, he's only got 21 vills, so he'd be sacrificing, if he wanted to get a decent amount of them out, he'd be sacrificing his entire eco. And now don't forget, they're not consulate units and they don't shadow tech, so the best that they will be is veteran soul daddies. So it's really not worth it.
No, they're still good though. That's still insane, especially versus H2 units at this point.
Some raiding going on here for Kaiser Klein as well. I don't even think Ezad has it in his deck, interestingly. He's definitely not his style, so...
it's fine. But interesting to see Spanish Gold and the Black Rise potential combo there working together. Quite nice.
I was just about to say, what is Kaiser Klein's play here? And Town Militia, I was just about to say, does he go for Town Militia? And it looks like he's going to. However, he hasn't got the resources. He's just started aging up as well. Now is Town Militia the play?
It is the play. In case something really bad happens within the next 30 seconds, but I'm sure he will cancel this and actually go for 3 organ guns, card number 1, in the next stage, and make some infantry to block it. Yeah. When you send a card, it doesn't mean you have to commit to... Yeah, he's just cancelled it there.
One thing to mention as well is Kaiser Klein is 10 villagers in front. I don't think Ezad, he hasn't got any trickles either. He hasn't got Spanish gold in, so all he's got is a market with hunting dogs. So yeah, I mean, it's looking good for Kaiser Klein. If he can get up and defend against these 2 Falconets, I think it's looking really, really hot for Kaiser Klein. Now, the big change that's happened recently, or not too recently, but, you know, in the last few patches, is that the organ gun card isn't 2 anymore. It's free. It does cost 200 gold. However, free organ guns completely changes the dynamic against these 2 Falconets, because free organ guns will actually beat out 2 Falconets. Most of the time.
Oh, someone in chat said I'm decent. I'm usually around 1650 elo. Oh, thank you. That's so kind. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, as much as Harrison is, we like to shit on Harrison. Yeah, undoubtedly he is, for the majority of players, is a good player. I would like to see you use China more, for goodness sake, not Dutch, because China are much better. But I definitely think you'll get your read up. Some goons coming out now for Kaiser Klein. And there's only really Musketeers and goons. you know, they kind of trade well against Musketeers, and especially if there's a bigger mass, then Goons will do well against Musketeers. There's no skirmishers out, so these Goons are basically just going to be able to have free reign on anything here. The only thing that might keep him at bay is the 2 Falconets, but if they're getting close enough, he's just going to be able to take out everything.
Yeah,
the dogs are getting stuck in.
Here come the dogs fighting. Falc's being pulled back to get a range and get a good shot on the
Oh.
infantry there. Oh, but there are Roleros closing the distance well across the map, and they will do good damage to the Goons. Goons getting really deep there. Got to be very careful.
Oh, the Roleros!
Into the Roleros. So classic potential, maybe overpricing Falc's damage there, and his Vet Musk is still doing massive damage in ranged combat versus these units. So once Minuteman goes down, we still have some mass Roleros, and if the Explorer's still standing, some dogs would be nice. I think he's just gone down though, so no more dog reinforcements.
Some nice micro here with the Goons, and what's Kaiser Klein's next card going to be? He's decided to play it safe, and he's going for Cassadors, and they will definitely melt these rods, but there's only currently 3 Goons, and that is going to be extremely infuriating to try and micro these rods, because it's going to take, what, 6 shots to kill a rod? So yeah, that's going to be infuriating. There's a decent amount of veteran Musks here as well, but unfortunately the Cassadors are going to melt them. 5 Cassadors getting built now as well. Only 1 Goon though, so if we see any form of Cav or more rods come in for Ezad, he might be okay, but it doesn't look like there is, and he's going to be backing up now. And this is the sort of stage of the game now where Ezad is definitely going to be thinking, damn, like, how do I come back from this? I'm clearly down on eco. Considering everything that's happened, Kaiser Klein's on 40 villagers, which is pretty insane considering he did a 10-10, whilst Ezad, unfortunately, is only on 28 villagers, and there's the GG. He just decides to call it. GG, well played, absolutely fantastic game. And I think that's the series. The series.
Yeah, GG's. Yeah,
so, absolutely fantastic series, guys. Just fantastic play by both of these guys. Honestly, it could have gone either way. And, just brilliant play. We'll have a quick look at the statistics on that game. But, I mean, when was the last time you saw a 10-10 from Portugal beat a Spain fast fortress? When was the last time you saw that happen?
Okay, so when was the last time I saw a Spanish versus Portuguese matchup? So out of all like the 240 plus matchups, when have I found that specific? Okay, so when have I found that this specific strategy played for one player into one specific strategy played for another player? Oh, it's quite a lot.
It's quite a lot.
It's quite hard.
Definitely a rarity. It's definitely a rarity. But yeah, playing it, and I couldn't find a better. I couldn't think of a better map to do it on as well.
What I would say is that a lot of people who've been living on the Fatora hype train have now seen that there is, another way of playing, and I'm glad that Fatoras was nerfed to the point that other options are playable instead of the Fatoras is like the number one must go every game, any other way is just completely wrong. So I'm glad that's kind of been sorted out there, and that's good play from Kaiser. I think from Spanish point of view, potentially starting training post. It's always just great, and then you could have gone for the 3-vil capitalism and then still getting the cards in order for the age at play. I know Spain loves their shipments, but potentially lacking that crucial pivot shipment. Maybe if it did the TP and did go capitalism, could have pivoted with the 7 Rodaleris shipment on the age up with the 4 Huss. That may have ended the game there. So there's potential options there from Ezad's point of view, but as a series overall, he's going to be kicking himself over game 1.
Yeah.
But the level of play from him afterwards has been pretty spot on.
And with all the other series, I'd like to ask what your favourite game was. What was your favourite game out of the whole series? It's got to be the New England, right? It's got to be New England, right?
Yeah.
And this is why. This is why.
Classic, like,
go on.
It's a classic. I had to think through the games one by one. I was like, right, we've got the that one, when we got the Mongolia, then we got Siberia, then we got the Saguenay, and all 3 of them were pretty much quick affairs. And then we got this one. Then I can't remember what was last game, but that was a good one. Oh, Patagonia. That was
a very good game. And I think maybe Ezad's kicking himself for that game as well, because I definitely feel like that was his game to lose. Don't get me wrong, Kaiser Klein just, his micro was absolutely phenomenal, but it was definitely Ezad favoured for the majority of the game. But yeah, this is why New England is. I know a lot of people and are about New England because of the lakes, and they can lose the game because of frigate pop and all that sort of stuff. But it's just so hype. It's just so hype. Like, New England is, I think it's always been the hypest map ever since vanilla, and I remember playing as Portugal and Soap McTavish, you know, and popping those frigates on the map, and it's just too much nostalgia on New England. I absolutely love that map. So yeah, really well played to Kaiser Klein. He gets the £50. I will be asking for his PayPal account, his PayPal details, and yeah, well played to Kaiser Klein. I'm sure he'll be able to spend that on a couple of baguettes and a couple of beers. So yeah, well played to Kaiser Klein. I do like to offer, like with the last series, I offered Giggs the Knights of the Mediterranean DLC. I do believe Ezad has all the DLCs. So
Ezad probably has all the DLCs twice over, and probably has spare change of them.
But what we can do is we can maybe do like because I like doing something to do with the runner-up. So maybe we can bring Ezad back for the next one. So we could do the next series Ezad versus someone. Which I think would be nice, quite cool. So.
Well, last time you said that, you're like, oh, I need Kevin back. I need Kevin back. I don't care, but I need Kevin back. I need Kevin.
Well, I did try. Oh, Kevin! I did try and get that series with I Am Turk sorted, but they couldn't play. So I am going to come back to Kevin versus I Am Turk, or maybe we could do Kevin versus Ezad. Who knows? Or Ezad versus.
The thing is, I haven't actually seen I Am Turk play since that week, so I don't actually quite know.
That's true. Or maybe Hazza. Maybe we could do something with Hazza. So if
right. I want to see some absolute salt in the chat. I want to see people calling each other out because I really want to see Passy taking on Lazar. I really want to see Rizzolo give and shake.
We could do, I mean, we could do a lower elo one. You know, well, they're not low elo per se, but you know they're lower elo. You know, if we got some beef.
Yeah, Chit's asking for Lazar versus Passy next.
Oh, Lazar versus Passy, that could be good.
Canelli saying. Oh, +1. I thought Claire was going like +0 elo for that. I'm like, oh, hang on a minute. Is Passy that low? No, actually, maybe not, because Passy might just quit within the first like 20 seconds of each game, so it might be a serious.
Passy, I've always said Passy's a great player, right? Passy is a really good player. His Brits is actually really good, but Passy's big.
That's why he hates you so much, man.
I know, but Passy's biggest opponent is himself. That's always been Passy's problem. He's a great player, but his problem is himself. There's a few people like that, but okay.
Ooh, I see a big Samwise 12 in the chat as well. Always welcome. Always good.